I think we're live. I was just telling Beth, I was like, I don't think I've been live in like, it feels like it's definitely been like 2 years or something like that. Because I definitely was, I didn't go live at all last year, but welcome to the Backlist Readathon reading sprints. I'm here with Beth.
Hi.
I don't know if you want to do you want to do a little intro? I didn't talk about this beforehand, but would you like to do a little intro?
Sure, why not?
Okay,
My name is Beth. You can find me at 𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏𝒏, which is right there on any social platform that exists, essentially, except for Twitter. I think I'm a pretty broad reader. However, my most read genres are like thriller, and then a close second would be kind of romance. But I read essentially everything. Yeah,
that's nice. It's nice that you can read everything. I feel like that's good. I feel like it's hard when you only read just the one genre, then it's hard to like talk to other people about things.
And there was about from 2000 and like the end of 2019 to maybe 2022, I mostly read thrillers. Like that was like my main genre. But it got to a point where all the thrillers were bleeding into each other.
Yeah.
And it was like nothing was hidden anymore because it was like reading the same stuff over and over and over and over. And so I went back to my roots because like before that I was a broad reader. And so I was like, well, let me just start reading whatever is popular, like I can't find a 5-star book anymore. And then I like read Fourth Wing and I read, this and that and this. And then now I'm just like, I have a stack of books over there to haul and it's literally like fantasy, horror, thriller, there's romance, there's a true crime.
Yeah.
So it's nice when you're also a mood reader as well.
I feel like I am following that same pathway where like, yeah, I pretty much only read thrillers and then like the occasional like romance or something thrown in there. But yeah, in the last couple of years, I've had a really hard time finding 5-star books or books that I like. And so then a couple years ago was when I started trying the memoirs and I started finding, tons of memoirs I liked. And I was like, okay, like I'm broadening a little bit. And now this year is when I'm trying historical fiction because, I feel like before I would just be like, oh, I only read thrillers. Like, I don't like fantasy. I don't like historical fiction. I don't like this stuff. But I feel like if you don't try it and you don't keep trying it and try, like, how are you ever going to know? Like, I feel that way about food when people are just like, oh, I don't like that, but they've never actually tried it or they haven't tried it like different ways because like foods taste so different, made different ways. So I was like, well, I don't want to be that type of person that's just like, well, I don't like historical fiction when I actually haven't tried a bunch of different historical fiction. So that's what I'm working on this year is to try and find books that I like again because I feel like I'm struggling with my reading, just reading thrillers.
Yeah. And see, when I read thrillers, so I like the darker thrillers.
Me too.
I know domestic thrillers and like popcorn thrillers are what's all the rage, like Freida McFadden or Riley Sager and all those. Those are entertaining, sure. But the ones that like I genuinely love are like the darker, like serial killer, give me like guts and gore and police officers and all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know where I was just going with this.
You were just saying how you like the darker thrillers.
Yeah, I like the darker, but it was like, I don't know. It's hard to find an all-time favorite book in a thriller, Yeah. And so like I try to do TikTok for a while and try to make lists because like TikTok to me is like little quick recommendation like videos. And so I was trying to do like really quick like top 10 books of all time. I don't have many like top books of all time because I read so many thrillers. Not saying thrillers can't be good, but they just, like I feel like The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is one of my top books of all time, but I feel like because it made me cry, it's very emotional. There's relatable things in there versus with thrillers. It's like, I've never killed my husband. I don't.
Not yet. No.
Even though there are some that I love. So this year I'm focusing on decluttering books that aren't higher rated books off my shelves because I do have over 1,000 books, that I own, which I unhaul all the time, but I also have a book buying problem. So I'm also I'm trying to get rid of books, and then I'm trying to hunt down some new all-time favorite books.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I just never really know.
Yeah, and I also feel like with thrillers that if you have read a certain trope before in a different thriller that might have been your favorite, you can't really, it feels hard to read that again in other books. There's books where people are like, oh my gosh, I absolutely loved this thriller, it's amazing. But it's okay, well, I already knew what was going to happen because I've already read this in these other thrillers. You know what I mean? But if that was your first thriller that you read,
yes,
then it is amazing. And
that's sorry. That's when these really popular book influencers that have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they majority read romance, which it's a really popular book, especially for women.
Yeah.
And then they venture out to thrillers, and then they find one that might be mediocre to a very seasoned thriller reader, and then they blow those authors up, and then now that's all that I see everywhere is these are you seriously calling that a 5-star book?
Yeah.
That's also kind of annoying. Nothing against them. Not their fault. It's their first time reading a thriller, or that's who they chose. But
right. I
don't know.
Yeah. Well, so we're just over here trying to find 5-star reads. Not in the thriller genre. No. All right, let's see. I'm gonna read some of these comments. So Danny, you're reading The Winter in New York by Josie Silver. I'm a third of the way through a thriller called Girl 11. Girl 11? I've never heard of that. And I'm really enjoying it. Okay. Tonight I will be reading Greenwild, middle grade. I just finished Murder Road, started The New Couple in 5B. Okay. Hi, Lena. Reading The Frozen River by Ariel Lahan. That sounds kind of historical fiction-y. I'm reading The Glow of the Everflame. Hello, trying to pick my next read. Oh, do you want us to help you? Currently reading The Man Who Died Twice. Okay. Reading to zero, yes. Hi, ladies, I'm reading The Housemaid's Secret. Nice, okay. Beth, what are you going to be reading?
I'm reading The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary.
Okay.
This is a Goodreads Choice nominee pick, and one that's been on my shelves for a long time. And I'm about 30%, I think, into the book.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, we have What Lies in the Woods. I actually think when I was at the library yesterday, I saw that and I was potentially thinking of trying it. Fairy Tale by Stephen King.
I like that one.
Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood. I feel like I keep seeing Allie Hazelwood everywhere because of Bride that just came out.
And Check and Mate's a new one as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that might be why you're seeing her everywhere. Because Check and Mate was YA.
Okay.
And then Bride. So it was 2 different genres. Check and Mate, I think, was end of December of last year.
Okay.
And then Bride, which is an Omegaverse. And listen, I was watching this TikTok. I haven't read it. I do have it. I want to read it because I'll try anything. Ain't no shame in my game. I'll read it.
Yeah.
And in Bride, it's I think she's a vampire and she has to marry this werewolf thing.
Okay.
And I didn't know what Omegaverse was, y'all, but
yeah, I don't.
You know how dogs do the nasty? Because he's a werewolf, and she's having a scene saying that, they were about to, or the girl wanted to do the deed or something, and the girl was like, you need to, do you have a condom? And he was like, no, I don't need a condom. And she's like, yes, you do need a condom. And he's like, no, because I don't have the right equipment for you, because he's a werewolf, so he has a dog, ding dong.
That's what
But that made me go buy it.
Oh my gosh.
Called nodding. Isn't that what dogs do when they're in heat? I don't know. But
I don't know.
We will find out.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, I keep seeing that book everywhere. I've only heard one thing so far because I have a friend that's reading it. But I haven't heard like actually anything else from anybody else.
I've heard very mixed opinions. But I think it depends on what type of romance you enjoy.
Okay.
Because of what it is.
So Bride is a romance?
Yeah.
Oh. When I hear like vampires and werewolves, I'm not thinking romance. That's not what comes to my mind. Yeah. Lena said she really liked the flat share.
It has really good reviews.
Decided on Daisy Jones and the Six. Okay. There's a show out of that now, I think. Is it Amazon Prime, I think, has that? Enjoy the flat share. Reading the Wren. Okay. So I've been reading The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. I'm 50% into that, but I'm actually going to take a break and I'm going to read Verity by Colleen Hoover. So fun fact, I actually have read it already, like the day it came out years ago. And I remember nothing. Back then, I rated it, I don't know, maybe I rated it like a 3 or 3.5. And I was just like, yeah, this was like, okay. And, you know, over the years, like, I mean, Verity is like the thing everyone talks about and raves about. And then the new chapter came out and I've been wanting to read the new chapter, but I was like, I remember nothing. Like, I literally do not remember anything. So I was like, this is a good time for me to reread it and then actually see like what my rating is and why I rated it that way or why I thought it was mediocre when I first read it. I don't know. I did that with It Ends With Us because It Ends With Us was like the very first Colleen Hoover book I read. And I read it when I first got back into reading. I don't even know how many years ago now, like 7 years ago or something. So then I was like, I don't even remember. I didn't write reviews back then. I had nothing to go back and look at. Now I rated it 5 stars, but I was like, I don't even know why I rated this 5 stars. I reread that. Was it last year when It Starts With Us came out? I reread It Ends With Us and I rated it 5 stars. I was like, okay, I do like this book. So that's what I'm doing with Verity. And I had started it actually early when this first month started. So it looks like I'm 15%. And yeah, I remember not a single word. Like I started it and I was like reading it and I was like, did I read this book? Because it doesn't seem like I read this book.
So I've read Verity 3 times. It is
okay.
It's one of my favorite books.
Okay.
And I read it also when it very first came out as well. And I went into it expecting a romance book because I had been reading Colleen Hoover. There's actually a video of me on YouTube somewhere from 2012, I think, 12 or 13. And I was raving about Hopeless. And it was back when like Hopeless and Slammed and stuff were only 99 cents because she was not a popular author then. So I have been reading her for a long time. And I went into Verity thinking it's a romance book because that's Colleen Hoover. It's not a romance book. Do not go in there rooting for any kind of couple, no where, no how. But the first time I read it, I had no kids. And the second time I read it, I had kids. And it definitely hits different after you're a parent.
Okay. Well, and so that's how I feel with Reminders of Him. Because like I have read every single Colleen Hoover book now. And when I read Reminders of Him, it was before I ever like got pregnant or had Alice. And I just rated that one, I think like 3 or 3.5. And I was like, I could definitely see like if I was a mom liking this more or having more emotion to it. Cause it seemed like all my mom friends like loved Reminders of Him. So maybe I'll reread that in the future, like now being a mom, but it'll be interesting to see then how I feel about Verity.
I read Reminders of Him. I was sent an arc of it and like I did a TikTok on it and like it was a really popular TikTok and I was just bawling my eyes out and I gave it 5 stars, but it's not because it's not like the mama in me that gave it 5 stars. It's my mom was killed many years ago in the same way that a main character in that book was
Oh,
killed.
no.
And so, like, sir? And and so the way that Colleen, like, described, like, how to get over what happened, not get over, but, like, how to just work
Move
through
on.
what happened, how to come to terms with the person who did it. Because, like, the person who killed my mom was never put in jail or
Oh,
anything like that.
no.
So it's like having to come to terms, and she just wrote that part so well that's why it hit home for me. But
Okay.
I always go into her books with the mind like, it's toxic and I know it's going to be toxic, but I'm not in the relationship, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah.
Because, but
Yeah. So really quick before we start reading, what are your favorite Colleen Hoover books?
Verity, Ugly Love, but to be fair, I had a stillborn, and I had him in 2010, and it was just in my life at that time. I knew nobody who had ever lost.
Wow.
Nobody I knew had lost a child, and so it was like very hard for me to really cope with life. And then reading Ugly Love because of and it's so funny because I feel like a lot of her books really hit home for me in certain ways.
Yeah.
And Ugly Love helped me through that. That's so stupid to say, but it did.
No,
I recently reread it. I was so terrified because I was like, I don't want to reread this and it be like a 1-star book for me.
Yeah.
And I read it and it still was a 5-star because it took me straight back to, I don't know, it just even though the relationship is toxic as fuck,
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's how I feel about All Your Perfects. Like, I read that when I was going through infertility and stuff. Well, I read it when it first came out, and that book was it. I mean, it's so good. I just absolutely love it. So All Your Perfects is one of my favorites. I actually really love Too Late, which is more, I would say, on like the thriller suspense type. And then I also really loved Ugly Love. I gave that 5 stars. And November 9 is one of my favorites.
November 9 is one I cannot get behind.
Oh, I love that one so much.
It's so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, they literally meet one time. Oh, I did a whole review. I wish I wouldn't have deleted them all. But it's like they meet one time a year. There's no way that they could fall in love.
I mean, maybe I would have to reread that one again.
And
I don't know. Like, I read all of these pretty much all at the same time when I first. It was right when It Ends with Us came out, was when I heard about Colleen Hoover and when I got into reading. That was the first one I read, and then I went back and read like all of her or most of her backlist, and then I went to like whatever new stuff she was putting out at that time, and then I went all the way back and made sure I read Slammed and Never Never and all that a couple years ago. But
then also November 9. I got rid of the books that I didn't like by her. I keep looking over there because that's where her books are. I got rid of the books I didn't like by her, and one of them was November 9. And I know she had went back and re-edited it because in the book, the girl tells him no, and he doesn't listen to her.
Oh.
And that's unforgivable for me, and I just didn't like that. And then people were telling me like to get a newer copy or like listening to the audiobook.
Well, you were like, it was already
that scene.
Yeah.
But then also I don't like Confess by her because I just don't like the cheating trope. And I don't care if like her boyfriend in that period of time was like a dump on a log, a douche canoe. I don't care. Cheating is cheating regardless. And I'm not going to root for the cheater and her man. So that was just kind of like, meh. But those are the only two that I don't like by her. I'm also a fan of Layla, and a lot of people don't like Layla. I like Layla.
It was okay for me. It wasn't like bad or anything, but it wasn't like a favorite. It was just like in the middle for me, Layla. Now, I mean, like it was shocking. That's for sure.
It's just different.
It is different.
And I like that it was like not her normal
stuff.
But I love Colleen Hoover as a person. It's really
She's
sad that
hilarious.
she went through all the drama and she
Yeah.
stopped posting on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
But she came back for the nail thing that
I
happened.
just got some. I
And
got
she
the
was so
Ins and Ends with this one.
funny. And she collects old creepy dolls and stuff.
Yeah.
But
She
I
is
mean,
really funny.
she stopped posting on TikTok because there was a bunch of accusations, or there was a girl claiming that her son sexually assaulted her or something, and Colleen denied it and then deleted the comments and blocked the girl.
Oh.
And yeah, TikTok went into an uproar, and so nobody reads Colleen anymore because of that.
I didn't know that.
Wow. I don't know if she's going to release another book. I don't know. I mean, she still has her fans, and people will still buy stuff from her, obviously. But
it's so sad to know that she might never release another book, though, because I've just been waiting. I'm like, oh wow, it's been a while since like her book came out, but then I also was like having a baby, so I was like, it's fine, like you don't have to put anything out now. But now I'm like, okay, like when is another book coming out?
Who knows?
Lena said, Coho and my stepmom should get together and go thrifting for creepy dolls. So at my dad's house, in the room that we stay in, my stepmom loves just like very different type stuff. So she'll like collect these like old creepy dolls or like old creepy toys, and like this whole room just has like paintings with like weird, like scary children just like staring at you. That's and like creepy hanging places. Yeah,
it's cool though. If you can, there's like a certain aesthetic that you can work that stuff in to make it look like it works with your house. You know, I don't have that aesthetic, but I've seen it.
Neither do I. Yeah. November 9 does not have time travel. What happens is that they agreed to meet once a year on November 9th for like, what is it, like 4 years or something like that? Something like that.
The thing that I liked about November 9 is the characters from Ugly Love are in November 9. That was my only like.
Which I don't think I knew that because I think I read them the opposite. Oh. Yeah. Now I did know, isn't it get the characters from either Ugly Love or November 9 in All Your Perfects? I think it is. Something like that. I forget. It's the hanging monkey in the guest room for me. Yeah, it is. It's like a hanging monkey or hanging puppet thing. Or actually, there's both of them, I think. Anyway, so let's go ahead and read. So let's see, 8:24. I was gonna stop it at like, well, not stop this, but stop the reading sprint at 9 to do like a check-in. But does that leave enough time to read? We could like stop at like 9:15 if you want. But then I guess you don't get as much on the second half. Well, it doesn't matter. We can stop at 9 or 9, and okay. we'll do a check-in at 9. So I think I can.
I'm gonna work on my blanket.
I can do a banner. Create a banner. Okay. Next check-in at 9 p.m. ST. Cool. It's been a while since I've done this, but we're doing it. We got this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be reading on my Kindle. I'm just here on my couch, and I'm just going to mute myself. I am not cool enough to bring up any type of like cool reading fire background like everybody else.
I don't normally do that either.
Okay. So you guys just have to stare at us or read your book. Either one. All right. Check-in time.
I found the audiobook on Libby, so I'm just listening to it while I work on my blanket.
Nice. What kind of blankets are you making? Are you crocheting?
Yeah, I'm crocheting a blanket.
Wow.
Just it's gonna be a long one, like a big throw.
That's awesome.
It's gonna take me 7 years, but it's fine.
Well, I was gonna say there was someone that I talked to recently, or I saw it somewhere. Instead of doing like, you know how people do like the weather blankets?
The book blanket?
Yeah, they do like
started that.
genres, or I guess pages read, or I don't know, something like that.
I was doing star ratings.
Like star ratings. That's great.
My little carts over there. I bought yarn and I bought like a color per star, but the yarn that I bought, I hate the texture of it, so I have to find a different. But I was gonna do a book blanket, and make each row resemble a rating for the book.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
But I just got to figure out a different kind of yarn.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, let me look through comments here and see where we left off. Okay. Hello. Thanks for joining. All right, so got 42% of Girl 11, and I'm still enjoying it. Nice. Switched to Book Lovers. Got to 5%. Oh, Danny was asking you what you were working on. So yeah, blanket. Right about 40 pages, almost to the halfway point. Love a little middle grade fantasy. 25% of Check and Mate. Yeah, I know that blanket is going to be so pretty. Beth is like super talented. Like, I don't know, have you guys ever seen her cookies that she like decorates?
Look, I've never been diagnosed with it, but I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. And then the other day I was watching this thing and the girl was like, people who have ADHD have all the hobbies.
Oh.
And I cross stitch, I crochet, I diamond paint, I read. I have all the hobbies.
That's awesome.
So I don't know. I mean,
I've tried cross stitching before, or well, like when I was younger, I did cross stitching, and then I crocheted a bit. Like after we got married, I made a couple blankets, but I haven't ever diamond painted. And I do like doing puzzles, but like the thing with me is I am a very impatient person. So I like want to try that stuff, or I want to do it. And I cannot like cross stitching was fine as a kid if I had like a little pattern, but I tried doing the big ones and I just can't commit to something that I would have to do like day in and day out for a long, long time before I get to like the completion stage.
I have like 50-ish projects, like cross stitch projects going, and about half of those are considered full coverage. So like you buy a white piece of fabric and the entire thing is completely covered to make a full photograph.
Oh.
I have one that's like 4 feet by 4 feet. That's Snape's library, so it's just a huge bookshelf.
Wow.
That's gonna be 70. I'll be in the nursing home when I finally finish that one.
I don't think I knew that they made them with the print on them. Like the ones
I don't do those. That confuses me.
Okay, yeah, I've only done the ones where it's just blank, and then I have to like sit there and count like a million things.
Do a pattern. Yeah. That's what I do. I don't do the printed ones. Okay. I'll show you. Let me just. You can talk, and I'll pull out an example.
No, I'm excited to see.
Let's see. I have one that has so this one, there's not a ton on it. This is a small one though, so I can hold it up. It's a black and white picture, and it'll look like this, right?
Okay.
So this is Janis Joplin.
Okay.
So my mom, I mentioned earlier that she had passed away, and she loved Janis Joplin is from Port Arthur, Texas, which is the town that's next door to my hometown. So like my mom was really big into her. Anyway, so when I saw this, I was like, my mom would want me to stitch that, so I'm going to stitch it. But I just worked on it for a couple of days. And so it's a white piece of fabric, You can see her nose and her mouth.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Eventually, it'll cover this whole thing, and it'll be
Wow.
the photograph. So,
That's
like
awesome.
but it's gonna take, like, 55 years to to do all of
Yeah.
them. But there's multiple different kinds. I have, like, a Stephen King one. I have that Taylor Swift one that I'm doing. I have a bunch of different
You have a Taylor Swift one you're doing? I don't think I saw that one.
and, this is what also another thing that I just made for my daughter. It's a blanket for her baby dolls.
Oh, that's cute. Okay, I could probably do something like that because it wouldn't take me a
And
million
it's like an
years.
heirloom thing,
That's
so
cute.
she'll have it now, and then when she's out of babies, I'll put it up, and she can have it when she's a grown up
That's so
and give
cute.
it to her kids.
I
So it's
love
like
that.
also like a little heirloom type thing.
Aw. I think Alice is gonna really like baby dolls because just recently she's, like, gotten into, like, giving them hugs and kisses and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, like, I hope you like baby dolls. That's so cute."
It's my daughter is just now getting into babies. My daughter is also she like leans more towards knowing numbers, letters, drawing, writing. She taught herself how to write, so she can write all the letters.
That's
My
awesome.
daughter's advanced, so,
Yeah.
like, she was counting to 40 before she was, like, 2 years old.
That's
So
awesome.
but she's very, like me, she's very hands-on crafty.
Yeah.
My son's, like, toys. My
Yeah.
daughter's like, "I'd rather pin
Yeah.
and doing the stuff." So
Aw.
that's kinda cool,
Which
but
one's
she's just
older?
getting
Is
into
your boy
dolls.
older or your girl is older?
My daughter's older, they're 12 months apart. So
Okay. Wow. That's crazy.
yeah. Emerson was
That would literally be like me almost having another one, like, next month.
yeah.
What?
Emerson was 3 months old when I was pregnant with Carter.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, and then when I had Carter, I got pregnant again 3 months postpartum, but I had a miscarriage at 11 weeks.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was like my body
Yeah.
was, like, pregnant for
That
almost, like, 2.5 years.
that's so much. That is so much.
Very much so. It
Yeah.
was rough.
Wow.
But they're, like, the best of friends, so it's fine now.
Yeah, that's good. How old are they now?
4 and 5.
Okay. Okay. I'm I'm always, like, thinking of, like, okay, what am I spacing my kids out? Like, what am I not going to lose my mind with?
Yeah. For the comment, I just bought this today because I'm making another baby blanket for my aunt, and this is the first time I'll be using that. So I'm glad you said that because I didn't know what to buy because this is like my third crochet project. So I'm really new when it comes to yarn. So I'm glad you said that because that's the exact what I bought today.
Nice.
But I think the closer together, like me, my brother, and my sister were all 2 years apart. So, and we were all very close growing up,
Mm.
close to where we could be like best friends kind of, but also not too close to where I don't know, like my brother could still go and do his own thing. If
Okay.
that makes sense. But
Mhm.
I'm glad I had mine close together. I didn't mean to. Like it wasn't I thought I couldn't have kids because like I had a stillborn in 2010 and then I never got pregnant ever again. And I was never on birth control or nothing. And so I just thought I couldn't have kids.
Wow.
And then I got a divorce. And then,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
then had sex one time and whoop, you're pregnant. So, but now they're into the same stuff. So that's fun. So like,
Yeah.
they can both watch Cocomelon. Well, they don't watch Cocomelon anymore. They're past that, but they can both watch Lilo and Stitch at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, like, if you're taking them somewhere, like, it's, like, for the same age
Yeah.
kind of thing because 'cause they're so close in age. That's good. 17 pages of Kennedy Ryan's new book. Oh, yeah, I am meaning to read that because I read the first one before I let go, and then this is I just saw it yesterday at the library. This is something I forget now.
I don't know. I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, it says actually, sorry, this could be us. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it is. Uh, Made it to page 145. Ask for Andrea. This is so interesting. I have a ton of hobbies. Homeschool, just to name some, yeah.
I feel like we have the same
And
ones.
my therapist has also recently been wondering if I am undiagnosed ADHD. Oh, interesting.
Like, my main sign of that is a lot of the times when I'm having conversations, like, I immediately forget what I was even talking about because my mind was already starting a
To the
second
next thing.
conversation,
Yeah.
and then I can't make my way back.
Wow, yeah. Managed to read about 30-ish pages, and I'm just laughing out loud. I'm loving The Man Who Died Twice. I have a huge age gap between my children because I was told I couldn't have any more. My son will be 1 this week, and my daughter will be 21 in August. Wow.
Hey, that's like a built-in babysitter.
Yeah. That's kind of how, well, like, my mom has 10 kids, but us first 3 girls are all 6 years apart, because it was, like, with different, like, marriages and stuff, and then me and my younger sister are 4 years apart, and then after that, they're all 16 months to 2 years apart, and the last ones were twins. So it's hard to gauge because it's like some of my siblings are really close. But then at the same time, like, my mom had so many older children helpers by the time she had all the little kids. So it's like, oh man, I don't know if I could have all the little kids like by
Yeah.
myself like in a row. I don't know.
What I would be afraid of is, like, I don't know this because I didn't like, my youngest sibling that I knew of was my sister, and she was 2 years younger than me, so I couldn't care for her when I was 3. But I have cousins, like, my aunt has 6 children, and they're not super spread apart, but the oldest one was in high school when the youngest one was a baby, and the oldest one, like, despises
Does
kids because she felt like she had to raise her siblings. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's something I would be terrified of. Or also,
Mhm.
like, my husband, his older sisters are from a different marriage than him and his younger brother, and they don't have, because they're like a big chunk of age difference between his
They
older
don't really
siblings
know
and
each
them.
other.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
they're
that's how it is. Cause like, my older sister was actually, like, married and having kids when my mom was still having my younger brothers, so, like, her 5 girls are the same age as, like, my like, 5 of my brothers, and so, like, she doesn't really know, and they lived, they were in the military, so they lived, like, far away, so, like, my older siblings don't know my youngest siblings as much. And even now, like, even though I grew up and I was a teenager when all of them were little and I helped raise them, I don't know them very well now that, like, I've been out of the house for so many years and my brothers are now, like, getting their driver's license and, like, getting ready to go to college. But, like, it's not like I hardly ever talk to them because now, like, I'm over here married and have my life, and, like, I don't really know, I don't remember what it's like to get my driver's license. So
Mhm.
it's really hard to, like, have those conversations when, like, so many of us are in different parts of our, like, my older sister, all her girls are, like, going to college now. So it's like, she's in such a different stage of parenthood
Yeah,
than I am, and I'm in a different stage than my younger brothers. So yeah, it is hard when you have, like, a really, really big age gap too.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Oh, Sabrina. Hey,
Let's
girl.
see. I've been watching, my girls are almost 5 years apart and they are just now getting close, and they're 13 and 18. Having them close is so much better. I wish that they were closer. Okay. I made it to page 100. This is almost as good as the first one. Yeah, I think I gave the second one 4 stars. And Housemaid was the only book I gave 5 stars last year. I mean, I didn't read that much. I only read 45 books. But I remember, like, reading it in the dark nursery while I was, like, rocking Alice, and I like the first one, and I was like, okay, this is a good book. I'm reading this. I'm reading this because I was having a really hard time with books at that time. My oldest is living her life because I want that for her, so she works and travels. My 1-year-old loves the show Bluey. Cute. Husband is the oldest of 7 kids and is 17 years older than the youngest sibling. Yep. I love that my kids are all close in age. I had 4 kids in less than 4 years.
Oh, because her last 2 are twins.
Oh my gosh, my last 2 are twins, and the first 2 are 16 months apart. That is crazy. My
I think
husband
the hardest part about having them so close, well, like, I lived here in Houston, and I don't have nobody here, so it's just
Yeah,
literally me and my husband, and
yeah.
he had to go to work, like, the day after I had him, my second one. So
Oh
I had
my.
a 12-month-old because her birthday's 2 weeks before I had Carter. I had
Wow.
a 12-month-old or 1 year and a
Yeah.
newborn by myself,
Oh my
right? And we lived in a townhouse, so we had stairs, and so, like, our bedroom's upstairs, and it would be like I would
You'd have
how
to
it's, like,
carry both of
hard
them.
because it's like, what do I do? Do I
Yeah.
bring my 1-year-old downstairs first and
Right.
leave her downstairs while I
Mhm.
go upstairs to get my newborn, or do I bring my newborn down first while I leave my 1-year-old? It was like that was the hardest thing, and to, like,
Mhm.
learn a routine when you have 2 so, like, my
Yeah.
mom was the twin, so and my granny was a triplet, and I have an aunt that's also a twin, so it's like
You
I'm
were like, "I don't wanna."
but I did not have twins during all of this,
Yeah.
because then it would just be like
I can't imagine.
and, like, my daughter was already like, my daughter started walking at 8 months, and my son walked
Wow.
at 6 months, so it was like she was up and walking, so it's even harder because it's like, what if
You're,
she,
like,
like, knocks over
chasing.
the baby gate even though the baby gate's, like, screwed in the
Yeah.
wall, you still
Yeah.
have that, like and she
Mhm.
tumbles down fucking stairs or just
Oh, man.
it was a wild time.
Yeah.
I'm glad
I
you
I
had
feel like so
mm,
much goes into the even, like, when me going from 0 to 1, it wasn't until I was, like, taking her out, like, the first time, like, I'm going to, like, Target,
by
and I'm literally
yourself.
like, "Wait, I didn't think about this, like, what do I do if I have to go to the bathroom? Like, what do I do if she cries? How do I, like, put the cart away and, like, carry her correctly?" And, like, you just there's, like, so
Mhm.
many things that you don't think about, and I can't even imagine with, like, 2
You.
thinking, "Okay, who do I put in the car first?" Or, like, "How do I
Exactly, because 'cause
carry."
we're both on different sides of the cars,
Mhm.
and then people get so they're like, "You should put your buggy back where it came from." Well, then what do I do with my kids
Yeah,
while I'm doing
exactly.
that?
Yep,
Ah.
yep.
So I don't even go grocery shopping by myself because I
Yeah,
have my 2 kids and a buggy. Because Lord forbid they're not running around right now. Where
yeah,
my groceries gonna go?
yeah, yeah,
So I couldn't
yeah, there's
even
so much, like,
I have 5
logistics.
kids, 10? I mean, luckily they're spread apart that far because the older ones can babysit the younger
Yeah,
ones while you go grocery shopping, but
yeah, yeah.
my
Well,
friend Brandon has
back in the day, we just got left in the car.
yeah, but
Like,
we didn't get to go my mama went by herself to go grocery shopping, but
yeah,
and we stayed home, but
yeah.
did not see me. I just a
Yeah.
twin with the twin toddlers were the hardest.
Oh, my husband's half brother is the same yeah, my daughter and her uncle are the same age. That's how my family is, like, we have, uh yeah, the uncles are younger than their nieces for my sister. I feel this. There are 21 years between my oldest siblings and I, but my oldest brother's just a babysitter. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they start to despise
Bummers.
the parents and everything.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine having, like, twins without the older help because, like, my twin brothers were the last babies born, so I was, like, 14 at that time,
Yeah.
and so we had, like, the 14-year-old and the 10-year-old and the 9 you
Heck,
had helpers.
even if I had twins right now in this moment, my 4 and 5-year-old, they know what to do. Like, it
Yeah.
would be fine because like, my 5-year-old could like, she makes her like, she does her own stuff. She wants to make
Well, and
all
that's why
the
I was thinking,
treats and all of
like,
that, so it wouldn't be that bad.
yeah, I was thinking of, like, a 3-ish year, like, 3 to 4-ish year age gap between like, for the next one, because then I was like, "Okay, well, then Alice could, like, do things by that time." Like, I could be like, "Hey, could you go grab that for me?" Or, "I don't have to be changing your diaper by that time," or maybe you could, like, kind of get dressed, instead of having, like, 2 babies.
Yeah. Mine, I like the diaper and stuff like that, like, part of me is glad that I had them that close together because it's like, when you have a baby too far apart, you have to
And
reteach
you, like,
yourself,
forget. Yeah.
and versus Carter saw Emerson learning how to go to the potty. And
Mm.
he
So he
knew
was
that
just like,
she
"Let's do it."
didn't sleep in a diaper anymore, and so
Okay,
now they're both fully potty trained, they don't sleep in diapers, like,
okay.
it's monkey see, monkey do
Mhm.
times like, because they're so close together, and that's
That's
nice.
true. The other thing is I would have to still play with her, I guess, for 3 or 4 years before I would have another baby, whereas if you have another one right away, then it's like, "Okay, cool, like, you have some entertainment now."
That's the only thing that kinda sucked. Like, that's the only regret that I have is, like, when Carter was an infant and Emerson was 1, I had to rely a lot on the TV to
Mm.
entertain her because I'm
Mhm.
over here
Because you're with the new
with the
baby.
new baby, and I think
Mhm.
that's how she learned because she was counting before she could speak sentences, like, and I think
Wow.
that's how she, because I would put on,
Mm.
like, it's called Super Simple Songs on
Okay.
YouTube, and
Oh,
they're
okay.
just singing the alphabet, singing colors,
Okay.
singing, so it's like instead of, like, Cocomelon, like, they learned it from,
Yeah.
which Cocomelon's not that bad, but because that's where they learned how to say, "Yes, ma'am, no, sir," whatever. But that's
Okay.
how she learned all of that because I had to really rely on televisions and stuff to
Yeah.
keep her entertained so I can
I
go
think yeah, I think the hard
do all
part
this
is, like,
crafty stuff.
when I take her out and about, like, she loves, like, watching other people and, like, watching kids, and when I talk to people that have, like, more than 1 kid, they're like, "Oh, yeah, like, I'm not sitting there, entertaining at home all the time because like, my kids are, like, playing together, or my
Mhm.
kids are enter." And so I was like, "Oh, yeah, maybe I need to have another one." So it's not like, okay, you don't need me constantly because you have
Yeah,
someone
they
to
play
play with,
together.
or you have someone to get the thing, that the ball that rolled away or whatever it would be. Yeah, because otherwise it's just like me, 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 me all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
think that's also why my son learned how to walk so early
yeah, I was watching his
because
sister. Yeah.
he just learned really quick from her, which was really
I don't
nice.
think Alice is gonna walk anytime soon. She only just learned how to crawl, like, uh, she's 10 and a half months old, or I guess a little bit more now. She'll be 11 months on the 15th, but she only
Mhm.
learned how to crawl, like, right around the 10-month mark, so, um
Emerson never crawled. So,
okay.
like, she went from just, like, kinda scooting a little bit to
Yeah.
just, I would make her not like, "You better do it," but, like, and, like, anytime we were walking to the kitchen, I would hold both of her hands, and
Yeah,
we would just walk everywhere, and so
okay.
she just, like, or my aunt would, like, sit in front of me and hold her
Mhm.
toy. We would
Yeah,
just work with her, and she learned pretty
yeah,
easily.
okay.
Carter, I didn't have to work with him because, like you
You
said,
just
they play together, and
yeah.
I was on the couch, and I looked over, and he was just standing up by himself. It was
Wow.
the first time he was not holding on to anything, just standing
Yeah.
there, and I started recording him, and he just
Started
took a few
walking?
steps by
Wow.
himself, 6 months old, and then he just plopped back down.
That's crazy. Wow.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
Harvard.
Alice, she is not yeah, she is not a daredevil, and she sat at, like, 5.5 months, so she's been sitting for a while, but she is, like, she was always so content just sitting and playing toys or sitting, and she loves flipping through books, like, she loves books,
That's
and
cute.
so she's just not that type of, like, kid that wants to, like, jump off the sofa and, like, just do stuff like that.
That's my
She gets
kid.
scared. Like, even if she doesn't get hurt, if she, like, falls down on this like, on a pillow, she will act like it's the end of the world
Yeah,
because she's just, like, terrified of stuff like
it's just wild how so different kids can be. Because
that.
like,
Mhm.
my kids learned early, but I mean, I think they learned well, my daughter just because I, like, worked with her a lot, but my son just, like, learned from her. But then I have my cousin, her daughter didn't start walking until she was 1.5. So
Yeah.
it's just, like, it's just different, and don't ever be like, "Well, my
Mhm.
baby's not walking, something's wrong." No, they're literally all different, and
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine because, like, even us as adults, we're all different, we all
Right.
have, and like you said, my kids just earlier, I was in there making muffins, they helped me first, and then when I walked out of the kitchen, my couch was scooted all the way in the middle of the living room because she because she was trying to get her makeup brush that rolled underneath the couch, so, like
Aw.
my kids
Aw.
are ruthless little
That's cute.
terrorists.
Yeah.
Yours
Aw.
sounds like she's gonna be a little a little quiet bookworm. Mine are gonna be out there, I don't know, holding people up for
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. All right. I had twins first. They were just turned 2, and when I had the third, whoa, and then they added our niece by adoption when she was 8 months. Wow, so 4 kids, 3 and under. You're like a rock star. I just can't imagine. They're now 15, 15, 13, 13, and now I'll have a 7-year-old. Wow. That's nuts. All right. I got to I think I started at 15% and I got to 26%. So yeah, this is like faster reading than when I'm reading The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. Obviously it's like totally a 180 from the other book I was reading. But I remember absolutely nothing from when I first read it, which is, I mean, it's good. I'm kind of glad because then it's like, you know, at least I really don't even know what was coming. But what's funny is all the stuff that I see about the movie for It Ends With Us, you know, how like Blake Lively's in that. And I always saw people on like TikTok and stuff commenting and they were like, oh, Blake Lively, like, you know, should be Verity or whatever. But I couldn't remember like what Verity even looked like. I was like,
Doesn't
yeah, I
Verity
really
have red hair though?
I thought it said blonde in here.
I don't remember. Maybe it's blonde.
Yeah, well, so that was the thing. Like, I couldn't remember. I was like, I wonder why they keep saying Blake Lively would make like a good.
I picture Verity. Look, I'm in a like I'm in my 30s, right? But I am frozen. I feel like we all have our frozen age. I am 26, and that's like around the age I feel like I stopped aging. I feel like we all have that like age where we kind of just stop. And so in my head, I still picture Blake as like, because she's my age, or I think she's a little bit older than me, but I picture her still because I was like, Verity's older than Blake, but never mind because I think Blake is.
I thought Blake Lively is like 37 or something because I thought she's a couple years older than Taylor Swift.
And Blake Lively is gorgeous.
Yeah, she is. Yeah,
she's 36.
She had her 4th, didn't she?
Do what?
I think she just had her 4th kid. Yeah.
She is 36.
Okay.
Wow, Alexis Bledel is 42.
No way.
The book.
That's crazy. I still picture her as like 16.
As 16-year-old Rory.
Yeah.
No way, 42. Yeah. That is wild.
That's crazy. Well, I must be frozen thinking I'm always 30 because the other day I was like talking with my patrons and I was like, yeah, like I'm going to be turning 31. And then I was like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to be turning 32. I literally had to be like, what year is it this year? Like, what am I turning?
You forget.
Yeah, it was crazy. So anyway, I'm enjoying Verity. Don't know anything that's coming up. I just read, the part that I read was like the very first time she was reading that like autobiography.
Not the books, but the manuscript.
Yeah. So it was like how Verity and Jeremy met. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. So I really just don't know what's gonna happen.
Okay, I don't watch The Handmaid's Tale. I did a long time ago, and then I kind of forgot that the show existed until recently. I read Manacled, and now I want to rewatch The Handmaid's Tale, but I guess I never really remembered that she played in that. So that
actually, yeah, I've only seen season 1, and then I always get like bored trying to start season 2. And I've been meaning to like finish it and like actually go through the series because everyone raves about it. But yeah, I forgot that she was in that actually.
See, and I just started watching Gilmore Girls for the first time. So maybe that's why I picture her younger, as like very young. And I watched The Handmaid's Tale as it was premiering. I think I was like pregnant with my daughter, so like 5 years ago.
Yeah. I think that's when I first watched season 1.
When new shows do that, it's like I always forget to go back and watch the new. Like it's like, you know what? I forget.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think that's when I watched season 1 was when like that was coming out. And then I tried to go back a couple years ago, and I was like, okay, I'll watch season 1 again. And then I think I like gave up halfway through of season 1. So like I've never like just kept going further, I think. So yeah.
I liked it because the main guy, not the guy that she like chooses to do the nasty with, but the guy that she has to do the nasty with, he looks like a version of Adam Levine. And so, and at this time in my life, I had a mad, hardcore, I would leave my husband in a 5 seconds crush on Adam Levine. And that's the main reason why I was watching that show.
Wow.
I just thought of
that. That's hilarious.
Those were the days. I don't have a mad crush. I mean, he is still scrumdiddlyumptious, but he's also a cheater, and we don't play that.
Oh,
moved on. Even though I was cheating with him in my mind.
Man. You were like, see ya, bye.
Sorry. He was going to name his kid after his, not a mistress in the sense that they had sex, because apparently they were only just inappropriately messaging each other. But to name your unborn child after someone you were talking to on the DL, no.
Wow. That's crazy. I did not know that. That's nuts. Wow. Okay. Let's read until 10. Let me put up a little banner again.
Dang, the time is going by fast.
Oops. Yeah, I know. I guess it's because we haven't done any of these things in a while.
Must be. And I'm gonna look up pictures of Alexis Bledel now. And then I'm gonna start my audiobook.
Yeah, I'm still gonna read Verity. We'll see how far I get because I'm at 26%. Oh, also, I forgot to say, we do have a Discord. I should probably link that on here. I linked your channel in the show notes, but I need to link the Discord for the Backlist Readathon in case anybody wants to chat over there. And then don't forget to go comment on me and Beth's day 1 vlogs, because after this is over and I'm finishing my vlog, I'm going to pick the first winner of the day. So make sure you go do that now if you want entered into the day 1. Let me find the link to Discord and I'll post it in the comments. All right. How is it going? It looks like. All right, we got Danny went to bed. Hello, welcome. I'll be reading Lock Every Door by Riley Sager and eating chicken egg rolls. Yum. Late but happy to join, reading Unwinding Anxiety. And subscribe to you today, Beth.
Thank you.
And Lena went to bed. All right, how's everyone's reading that's left here anyway?
I got to 34%. I read slow and I listen to audiobooks slow. So I don't know why. I just enjoy it better when it's slow. So I only listen in at 1.4 speed.
Okay. It depends on the audiobook for me. Like sometimes I can read, like I can listen at 2 times the speed. On like really, really, really slow narrators, it might be a little bit faster, but usually it's not past 2 times. And then sometimes it's like 1.5 or 1.7 or something.
I'm also listening to the Matthew McConaughey book, and I have to listen to it at 1 speed because when you speed hit, I think it's because of his accent.
Yeah.
It's like he talks slow but fast at the same time. It's so weird. Yeah. So then when you speed it up, because his accent's so strong, I can't understand anything he says.
I think I listened to his book just on regular speed because I wanted to hear his voice the way that it was. Like just because, I mean, his voice is so iconic.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't remember. I don't think I sped it up at all, but I was at work. I just remember like laughing and like just like loving it. It was a book I listened to at work, and I was like, this is such a good book. Yeah. Reading Yours Truly, loving it. That's next on my list. I'm actually over halfway through Part of Your World. It's my buddy read in my Patreon, but then I stopped reading it for this readathon because why was it? There was a reason why I was like, I'm not going to read it for this readathon. But anyway, I have Yours Truly on, like, I actually have it on my physical TBR. I have the physical book. And then I watched your review, Beth, for Just for Summer, and it makes me want to read it. Like, yeah.
I have not read Yours Truly. So like my Abby Jimenez journey was, I bought Yours Truly when it first came out, and I read maybe 10% of it. And because somebody was like, you don't have to read Part of Your World to read Yours Truly. But at the beginning of Yours Truly, it spoils what happens in Part of Your World. Well, it's a romance, so like you know what happens, but like it kind of spoils it. Okay. So I put it down. I read Part of Your World. And then I hadn't picked up Yours Truly, but I got the arc to the newest one, not knowing it's not considered the series. It is definitely, it should be.
Because so you're the one that told me that it had characters from Part of Your World, because I have the arc for Just for the Summer or whatever. From NetGalley. But yeah, it wasn't part of the series. But then after you said that, I was like, okay, let me actually, I guess, read at least Part of Your World, because you said read Part of Your World, because that's where the characters came from.
And it's not, so like the 2 main characters from Yours Truly do make an appearance in there, but they just make an appearance. Okay. Versus the characters from Part of Your World play a big role in that one. So
okay, well then I'll probably read Just for the Summer next after Part of Your World, and then I'll go back and read Yours Truly.
Yeah, because the best friend that's in Part of Your World is the main female character that's in Yours Truly, and she also makes an appearance. But it's just like, because she's a nurse, because or a doctor. She works at the hospital, and she like makes
a gynecologist lady, or a different one, or the other friend.
She's in Part of Your World as the main girl's best friend that works. That not one of the best friends that goes with her on the overnight trip.
Okay.
Some horrible friends. I don't know why she was
right. Yeah,
but it's the other best friend.
It's the other one. Yeah.
At the hospital.
Yeah,
but
I'm always terrible with names. But
a big part of the guy in the guy that's in Part of Your World,
Daniel.
Yeah, a big part of him and whatever plays a big role in the, I don't know, you would understand it, not understand
Okay.
it.
Just go together better.
Yeah, definitely read. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm excited though after like listening to your review.
Oh, good. It's like my perfect type of romance because I don't like insta love.
Yeah.
And I don't like too much. I don't like a lot of spice.
I agree.
So just one scene, if you're going to put it in there, I mean, I don't mind even fade to black, but just like one scene is good enough for me. And it was perfect. And I think there's only like one. I mean, they did it more than once, but you weren't there.
You're not reading. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
you weren't there.
Rewatched, it's kind of weird if you think about it.
It is weird. Yeah. I usually am like someone that like, if there is that, I kind of like skim read across of it because I'm just like, I just need to like, I want to get to the plot. I want to hear more of the story. Like, I don't really care.
I like the tension, the angst, like the first kiss. And in that book, it's like, so, like they make a dating pact and like the list is they have to go on 4 dates and they have to have at least one kiss in order for it to break the curses that they're in,
Okay.
That's like in the synopsis. That's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
And so he starts falling for her first, which I love when the guy falls for the girl first. And so he doesn't want to kiss her because he doesn't want it to be a thing checked off a list. Right. He wants it to mean something. And she wants to kiss him so bad. And you're like reading it and she's like, come on, please. And he just kisses her on her forehead and he walks off. So good. I love it.
Yeah, she's so funny. Like even in part of your world, I am like cracking up laughing at like things that she says.
I think I gave that one 4 stars or maybe 3 stars.
So it's funny. It's funny. So I'm actually doing it's an exclusive vlog for Patreon, so it's not gonna be out here, but I'm doing a video idea where I think I saw Ashley's Little Library. I think I saw did it, but where you like guess what you're gonna rate a book by like the first chapter, and then you like read the book and you see if you were right. So anyway, Part of Your World is like the first book I'm doing for that, and from the first chapter, I guess that I'm gonna rate it a 3. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
So the guy in Part of Your World is literal perfection, right? And I love.
Yeah, he's like he doesn't have anything wrong with him,
and I love him. And like just the way that he's patient with her because she got on my fucking nerves.
Okay, so the part where the electricity gets turned off and she acted like, I was like, why are you acting so dumb? You are like this like really smart doctor. How do you not know that you can like open the garage door, and like how do you not know how to make coffee or clean?
She annoyed me to no end, but he was so good. That's the only reason why I could not like the book 100% was just because of her. That's it. Other than that, I think it was really good. It was it was well done.
Yeah.
It's not like nobody was calling. I don't like super pet names. So like daddy or like baby girl, like it just seems so trashy to me. And I like Abby Jimenez doesn't do that. And I appreciate her for that.
I agree. Yeah. I like that. I think I have no clue what my rating is going to be at the end because I am not there yet, but like I do appreciate that it's not the same type of romance like as a lot of other romances. I really like her like writing style a lot. I don't know if the story is going to be my favorite, but at least I know I want to read more by her because of the way that this one's written.
Have you read The Dead Romantics?
No.
You have to go into it just knowing that it's one of those books that it could never happen in real life.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's one of my favorites as well. And I know like in thrillers, we typically have opposite tastes, but I'm interested to know if we have similar tastes when it comes to romance books.
That would be good. We did.
But I really love
The Dead Romantic?
The Dead Romantics. Her newest one is, The 7-Year Slip. It was also good, but I liked The Dead Romantics better, and I feel like people either like The Dead Romantics more or they like The 7-Year Slip more. They were both really good, but I really love The Dead Romantics.
Okay, I'll add it to my list so that way I feel like I've, like, never seen this book.
Yeah.
Did it come out last year? Because I feel like I have no clue what books came out last year at all.
Last year or the year before. It's a very much
that makes sense, yeah.
spooky time read.
Okay.
Kind of, because if I remember correctly, like, her family owns a funeral home or something like that.
Okay.
There's ghosts involved.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those kind of books.
Very different. Okay.
Yeah.
Tested out my new earbuds. I love being able to move around now with it being Bluetooth. Yes.
Look, I'm so used to having Bluetooth earbuds. I needed headphones to, like, lay in bed, and the AirPods, like, they don't work well in the dark because it can't sense, like, when it's in your ear. So I put in the plug earphones, and the amount of times I flung my phone across the room from the cord.
Wow.
It's wild.
I have a really hard time with, like, the earphones that go, like, in my ears. I find those so uncomfortable.
They are.
I do have, like, I have these that I like wearing. These are, like, Bluetooth, but then I don't have AirPods because I don't have an iPhone, but I do have, like, the version of
my husband has an Android.
Yeah.
He doesn't have AirPods. See, I have Beats that go over my head, and I try to wear them when I exercise, but I have, like, I only have I have 3 piercings and then have this piercing up here.
Okay.
And so those headphones wearing often, it's very painful. So, like,
yeah,
I just kind of deal with. I'd rather the pain in my ear hole than the pain
outside. Yeah,
over my ear. But
I have seen, like, some of the, like, small ones where they're not, like, I guess they don't go in your ear. They go, like, I guess I don't know. They start outside. I saw them on TikTok and I was like, I should probably try those because, yeah, those, like, will start really hurting my ears having them, like, inside.
And then with glasses too. And so, like, the over the head, like, will smush my glasses too. And I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
I prefer over the head.
Uncomfortable.
Piercings are all there, and I don't want to take all my earrings out.
Yeah. 87 pages and 12 and no chapters in this book. Ooh, I hate when there's, like, not, like, a stopping point. Hi, Megan. Just joined because hubby and I had a date night tonight. Ooh, that sounds fun. Should have listened to the audio with it. 15 pages after the fire.
Feel that. Felt.
Are we doing more sprints? Not tonight, technically, but I guess we could always talk about maybe doing. Well, I have a reading sprint channel in the Discord because I was going to host, like, just sprints, not live or whatever in there. So that way when I'm, like, reading, I can be like, hey guys, let's read for an hour or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another live sprint later this week or not. We can always, like, chat about it and I'll let you guys know, but definitely reading sprints in Discord. It's Bree. That's in yours truly. She's, like, the only nice friend in part of your world.
That's another thing that irritated me about the main character. Oh, I was going to say, I really love the rep of the age gap where the female is older than the guy. I'm older than my husband.
So am I.
And the thing is I was reading that, and the amount of times that she brought up the fact that she was older than him, I was like, are you fucking, like, be so for real right now? Does it really matter?
Yeah.
Does it really matter?
Yeah.
That was very annoying. But I really love, like, it's you unless you read, like, Penelope Douglas, which I don't read her because she writes with seniors in high school dating old men, like, that cringe.
Yeah.
And you don't ever see an older female. So I really like that. I just wish it would have been a different female.
Yeah.
But I think she's going to be a author that I'm going to automatically pick up now.
Yeah. How are you doing today, Beth? That makes me want to read these now. I'm a bit hesitant to try them because I wasn't sure on the spice level.
I like books that are like 1 to 2 pepper. I will read books.
It always cracks me. You said that in your review. You were like, well, I give it 1 pepper. And it just looks like that just so funny to me. I mean, I know that's like the way of
like people will ask you. I have a friend who only reads, she likes spicy books, and she's like, I will only read a 4 pepper or higher book. She doesn't like to read like the books, and I'm like over here like, one of my favorite authors is Catherine Center, and there's no spicy scenes in those, but they're like such good romantic, like romance, like the falling in love is what I like.
Wow. I wonder, like, is each person's, like, you know how everybody's ratings are kind of different? Like, it's like, okay, this is what like a 3-star rating means to you. Like, in regards to the peppers,
I think so.
Is it just what people think, like, oh, this is a 5 pepper to me? Or is there like somewhere that you can figure out, like,
I think, I don't think there's an actual guide to it. I think it's like your own. Well, I'll say that I don't think I've ever read like what I would consider a 5 pepper. But I don't typically reach for, right across from me, I have a stack of a bunch of dark romance books that I've recently picked up.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see, like, I like talking about them, like, because sometimes I'll talk about the books that I'm reading on my Instagram stories and stuff. And like, I like to talk about it because some of it's so far-fetched or like so ridiculous, so made up. And I'm just like, it's just fun to talk about. And I know people take it so fucking serious.
Yeah.
And I cannot, but that's why I like reading them.
What pepper would Verity be?
Like a 1.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
because I was like, some of the stuff I was reading, I was like, oh wow, I haven't read a book with like all this in it for a while.
Colleen Hoover, her books are not spicy. If you were to tell people like her books are spicy, they would laugh at you. Like they have sex in
well,
them.
Then I definitely do not want to
1 peppers.
Not want to read a 5 pepper then.
They're not spicy.
Then just keep me at a 1 pepper.
Yeah. So like the 1 pepper. So like,
how about a jalapeno, not a habanero?
Silver books are, I would say maybe like a 2, close to 3 pepper. Like in one of the books, he literally makes her crawl to him on the floor while she's naked. Or like they do it the nasty in the front seat of a truck. I don't know. Just like, so maybe it's like a 2-star, but then there's people where they'll ejaculate on them and then lick the cum off. Like, and I don't see that in a Colleen Hoover book, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't
know. Some of them are just wild, and I'm just like, bro, who thinks of this shit?
Yeah. I don't know.
What Pornhub do you be watching to take notes from? But my friend
well, there was a TikTok where this lady had like a stack of, I guess they were dark romances, and she was like, all the books that my husband doesn't read but has, like, she said it some way like almost like he's benefited from it, or for the way that she like said it, I was like, I don't know what this means. Like, what is this TikTok about? And then finally I was like, oh, I think those are romance books.
And see, people will even say like romance books are the new Pornhub, but it's like, I don't watch Pornhub. I just know of it because I mean, I'm aware of things that go on in the world.
Yeah.
But they were saying like how it's degrading, like for men to watch it. And like, if you were to see men making TikToks about episodes that I don't know if they're called episodes or whatever.
Oh, right.
Pornhub, like
things that they
could you imagine a whole porn community and it be 100% acceptable? Because that's essentially what spicy book talk is. Because they're literally like, oh, in this scene, like she comes in her mouth and then she spits it back in his mouth. Like you couldn't talk freely about that if it was just normal every day. So it's like acceptable porn now, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
So I would rather read. I like the tension, the build up.
Yeah.
And when we get to the happily ever after, then in the book, I don't want to read about them going grocery shopping and be in the couple. Just
Yeah.
get to the couple part and then let's end it.
Yeah. 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 I'll probably stick to one pepper. I got to 35% in Verity. And yeah, it's good. Like I'm really trying, like I'm trying to wonder, like, I mean, once I get to the end, I guess I'll know. But it like makes me wonder. I'm like, gosh, what book did I read? Like, because this doesn't feel like I'm liking it. So it's like, I wonder why I only rated it, 3 or 3.5 when I read it years ago. Or I think I did read it in one day. I think I was like, I read it like on New Year's Day. It was like a readathon or something. So maybe I just was like not paying attention and just like flying through it or something. I'm not sure, but I am really enjoying it. So after these sprints, like I'll be reading a little bit more in bed because I've been really working on this year, like not being on my phone in bed because then I'll like stay up way too late. So instead, I've replaced being on my phone with being on my Kindle and reading. And that has been super helpful because not only am I getting a little bit more reading done, but it definitely doesn't keep me up. Like I will definitely be tired and fall asleep.
Well, if you're reading from your Kindle, the Kindles were made to read on because they don't put off blue light.
Yeah, I love it.
And blue light will keep you up. So even if you're reading on the Kindle app on your phone, it's still producing blue light.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm reading on my actual.
It's better for you to read on your Kindle too, because I read on my Kindle in bed. I have like a specific bedtime book. So like I'll just read it at bed, and then in the daytime I read something else. So I'm currently reading 𝑀𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒆𝒍𝒔 𝑴 book, and I don't read any thrillers or anything. I have a few times, but one time it like kept me up at night because it was a little too creepy. And so I don't read thrillers at bedtime anymore. I just read either romances or like a literary fiction type book. Yeah. I'm reading a 𝑀�𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒆𝒍𝒔 𝒂 book because she's been recommended to me for slow burn. And so, and in this book, the man's like 39. We need more books with older characters. Cause like I am tired of like, how am I supposed to be over here rooting for this 22-year-old?
Yeah, I agree. And especially since like life is so different. Like I don't like to read about like kids that are like just getting out of like school or like just in college and
romance wise, that's like with Penelope Douglas. Everybody like that's my friend Ashley, the one that I said that reads nothing but spicy books. Yeah, Penelope Douglas is her favorite author, and I read one Penelope Douglas book like fully, and the two characters were seniors in high school doing dirtier things than I've ever done. And it's just weird to me that a grown, and I understand they're 18. They're literally still in school. They're having sex in the parking lot of the high school. Yeah. That is disgusting to me. Yeah. If my daughter was 18 years like that, to me, I'm just like, I don't want to read about children.
Yeah.
Pedophilia. And
it is funny, like the older that I get, the more like I remember when you were like little and you thought like college kids were like so grown up and like, oh my gosh, they just like know everything. And then now, you're like in your 30s and you're like, college kids know nothing. They're like, they're still like
I used to think my mom was so old because like my mom had me young. And so, and I would be like 15 and my mom would be having like a barbecue with beer and all of her friends and they're partying outside while like all the kids were inside watching Spice World or something. Yeah. And I was like, man, my mom was so old. But I look back on it, I'm like, damn, my mom was only 35. She was young as fuck. And I was like, but they're telling her how old she was.
Yep.
It's also, I saw this thing, because I don't know if you're on TikTok often, but there's like this new like thing going around about how millennials like look really young, and
because so number one, I live on TikTok, which is why I had to start reading my Kindle at night because I literally love TikTok so much. Like I love watching TikTok. It is like a hobby to me. So I have to put like timers on my phone or else because I just will watch too much. But yeah, I saw that where like there was some Gen Zers like asking like, how old do I look? And people were like 50.
And that some of them do. But
No,
it's
they
because
do. They really do,
they
yeah.
use, like, retinol and stuff when they're 18, and yes, it helps with aging when you're aged, so it's not good for your skin so that they dress a lot older than they are. But millennials look young because we set the new bracket for aging, and the guy was talking about it, and then he was showing examples. So, for example, if you've ever seen Seinfeld, what's Seinfeld's friend? You've never seen the guy that's, like, balding on the top? Do you like
Alvin's shaking his head, he knows what you're talking about.
Okay, so the guy, while he was acting in Seinfeld, was in his early 30s. Tim Allen in Santa Claus was in his early 30s or in his 30s. And, like, if we watch that now, I would not think he was my age while he was playing in that movie.
Because he looks old, right? Is what you're saying? Yeah,
well, like, Cheers, the show Cheers, all of them, they look old as fuck. They were all in their early 30s. And you wouldn't and that's why they say, like, the millennials have changed the game when it comes to aging now because like, if you compare me to the guy from Seinfeld himself, he was probably also in his 30s.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be my dad.
Well, isn't that okay, so I hear everyone talk about, what are the old ladies? Golden Girls, right? Yeah, and they're, like, supposed to be what, like, 45 or something? I don't know, they're supposed to be, like, young, but they look like they're, like, 70.
Yeah. Or even my grandma. My grandma looks old as fuck. And she's not. I mean, she's in her 70s, but then you look at her and then you look at, like, I don't know. And then, like, my aunt was full gray. She just let herself completely go when she was in her 30s. And I'm thinking now, like, I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's why millennials look younger because we, like, set the bar for the new aging.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, there was a guy on TikTok that explained it way better than I could ever, but he had a lot of really good examples.
Yeah.
So, and it's also probably because we used, that what was it called? Apricot scrub the shit out of our skin.
I do.
Yeah. Listen, my grandmother is a bitch, okay? And okay. My grandmother is like me. We weren't when God created us, he put in the wrong filter. And so sometimes when I say stuff, I don't realize that I'm insulting people. It just kind of I don't mean it to be mean. I don't mean it to it just like comes out.
Yeah.
And my grandmother's the same way. And the older she gets, the more she embraces it. And so I can't be around her. Like one dinner
say stuff.
Yeah, because it, like, gets to the point where I'm just like, "Nope, I gotta go."
Wow.
'Cause she's very mean now, and she's in her 70s, and I don't want her to die soon, but, like
she's suddenly granny alone.
That's why I said, I was like, "I hope Stephen King don't croak I love Stephen King, and I was like, "I hope Stephen King doesn't croak anytime soon because I have so many more books to buy by him, and I know it because his books are already there's like, even if you find really old ones in decent condition, they're super expensive. But, like, just imagine when he dies.
Yeah.
Like you can find, like, a signed Colleen Hoover book at a used bookstore for $12. If you were to find a signed Stephen King book at a used bookstore, you're gonna be paying $5,000. Like, that's the difference between, like, how much his books are worth and how much a normal author's books are worth, and I'm still trying to collect, and he's the same age as my grandma. And somebody messaged me and was like, "That is not old." Okay, when I get to 60, I'll probably not think that 70-something is old.
Yeah.
But right now it's old.
I know, but before, when I was in my 20s, I was, like, so afraid of, like, turning 30. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, that's so old." And now it's like, how dare people call being 30 old? Like, this is not old. I'm really just getting my life started.
Right. And I, like, didn't have my first kid until besides my son from years ago, like, but my kids now, I had them when I was 30 and 31. Okay. And so it's like my life officially started. I feel like,
Yeah.
Now. And but I still feel like 40s is old.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
but when I get to 40
isn't old, but I don't want to get to 40 yet. Like but I'm sure once we get there, then we will also be like,
yeah.
"Oh, why do people say it's old?" You know?
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah, at
it's
the
gonna
same
be
time,
like
like, I
that
don't wanna get
forever.
there yet. Yeah. So you're, like, 35 then? Yeah, you do not even seem like you're 35 at all. I think you also just have, like, a very young personality too.
But 'cause I'm 26.
Yeah, you're 26. Yeah, exactly.
Obviously. And see, the other day I was like, "Man, I'm so like, why do I even try to be on TikTok or YouTube? Because I'm so like, I'm old. Like, all the other people are very young on this platform." And then I was like, Taylor Swift is literally 34.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
she is still relevant, so I can somehow be relevant to somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I watch all kinds of different people on TikTok. Like, I think that I feel like BookTube definitely has a more younger vibe. There's usually
Mhm.
not a lot of older people
Especially
on
now.
BookTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in regards to like regular social media, like there's tons of people that are like our age and older.
And we grew up with social media. So, like,
Yeah.
social media like, I started my first YouTube channel in 2012 when it was just or maybe a little bit earlier than that, when it was just, a baby,
Mhm.
and when TikTok was a baby, well, when it was Musical.ly or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
so we kinda, like, grew up with it,
Yeah.
but I feel like we're old still. Even on TikTok, I feel like the older, like, bookish people
Mhm.
don't get as much love as the younger ones do.
Yeah.
But maybe it's because there's more younger people on the app. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or
I mean, I
maybe
guess older people might not have as much time to watch
or
also.
maybe they don't read.
Or they don't read, yeah, maybe. That's true
Maybe
too.
they don't.
Yeah.
I really 'Cause I do follow some older people on there, like, what's her name? Chance, the one that she always says, "Hey girl, what you doing?" "Nothing." "You doing
I
TikTok?"
actually my TikTok doesn't have BookTube very much on it, like, it has mostly, like, motherhood content, I would
Okay.
say, but, like, I'm not on, like, the BookTube side of
TikTok.
TikTok for some
Well, I
reason.
don't like my For You page isn't really bookish as much. It's my following is. But,
Oh, okay,
like,
yeah, I don't
Janice
really
is
watch.
not, she's not a book person. She just does she is a mom, but she's just life. And
Yeah.
then, I do follow a few moms on there, but they have, more interesting lives than I do.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Yeah.
like, "No." And then I have a friend, like, she's my friend in real life. 'Cause this isn't real life.
Nice.
She's my friend in real life, and she just started a TikTok of doing motherhood stuff.
Mhm.
So she's doing her own little thing over there. TikTok is so weird. I just follow it for the weird shit, for,
Yeah.
like, recipes. I'm just, like,
Mhm.
flipping and reading and watching drama, watching this
Yeah,
there's
the
this
drama Love Is Blind TikTok is some of my
see,
favorites, like, I love Love Is Blind.
I've only watched season 1.
Oh, man, I just it's so entertaining, and then, like, the TikToks that come out of it are even more entertaining than the actual show. It's like, I love the drama of Love Is Blind on
I
there.
just looked up Nick Lachey the other day. No, 'cause a video of Nick Lachey came on my FYP of him singing a Halsey song. Now,
Oh
I love
my
Halsey. She's
gosh.
one of my favorite singers, right? And he was singing the Halsey song, and I was reading the comments, and people were saying, like, "Maybe you need to stick him back in the oven because he ain't feeling like he's 98 degrees anymore." They were roasting him. And
Oh
so I clicked on his
my gosh.
profile. I have more followers than Nick Lachey. I was like, "That is
That's crazy.
just call me a celeb."
Yeah.
They were like, you should probably just stick to hosting a TV show."
Yeah,
They were just roasting him. It was hilarious. But yeah,
that is funny.
my FYP is not it's all over the place. All over
Yeah, so
the
the
place.
mine is I mean, I would say the majority of it is probably, like, motherhood content that comes up, but then there is, like, a little bit of everything, but it is weird how, like, as soon as I got pregnant, it, like, knew, and like, ever since then, it's, like, so much of the content that comes up is like the exact age that Alice is. So it's like when I was like pregnant, it was like all these pregnant people. When she was like born, it was like all this newborn stuff. Like it's so weird how it just knows. It knows.
And I was into all the motherhood stuff too when my kids were little, but I feel like once they start, like once they're about you no longer, or at least I no longer look into that, because like they feed themselves essentially. Like they have a macaroni and cheese and chicken nugget appetite right now.
Yeah.
Where I have to like get them cauliflower chicken nuggets and stuff. But so now I don't really watch lifestyle stuff.
Yeah.
Anymore like motherhood I used to. Now I'd like to watch, even though I don't have any type of fashion sense, I like to watch fashion girlies on there. Or like mid-size is a thing on TikTok. So I find mid-size girlies on there.
Nice.
Or like just funny lip syncing or lip. What do they call it?
Yeah, I think
lip sync. But it sucks now that they took the music off. But they'll still have good little bits on there.
I know. Oh, I'm on like Swift Talk. So like I'll watch anything that's like Eras Tour, but then I also love all the clowning. Like so much. I love
like
watching everybody
think where I don't even believe it anymore. Cause now there's like people saying that something's I even said that in my vlog that's gonna go up tomorrow about how on the 14th, which is during this readathon, I will be spending the evening watching the Eras Tour on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I know. I cannot wait. We watched it on Christmas, but we like paid to rent it, and then it was only for like, I don't know, 48 hours or whatever. And I was like, I cannot wait for it to be on Disney Plus because I'm going to watch it so many times.
I want to buy it, but like, cause I know her. I used to watch her other tour on
Reputation.
Yes, and they took it off, so you can't watch that anymore.
I've been hearing people say that they think that she's gonna announce that that's coming on Disney Plus also.
Maybe
like, next. Yeah.
But we went and seen it in the movie theaters, and my daughter knows of Taylor Swift because she'll just say put on Taylor Swift as like music. They don't know like lyrics. I know some kids that are like my daughter's age know like whole Lainey Wilson songs and stuff. My kids can tell you the whole like, I don't know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday song. But they don't really listen to music like that.
Yeah.
And so we went and seen the Eras Tour because I wanted to go. I don't know anybody here in Houston, so I don't have a babysitter. So guess what? My kids went with me, and everybody's like dancing in front of the movie theater. It was really fun. So I can't wait to like actually watch it without having to like go bring my kids to the potty every 30 minutes. And that's awesome. And then my daughter's really into Taylor Swift right now. So
I have my Taylor Swift book shirt on, so it's all like Taylor Swift albums and books.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing that Taylor Swift cross stitch thing, so I can frame it and get it put in my daughter's room. And it has like the eras. It doesn't include the Torturers Poet Society.
Yeah,
but that's fine because I wanted it to like resemble the year that my daughter like fell in love with Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah,
and so like it just has the first all the way up until Midnight's, and it's like her little silhouettes, and it says Taylor Swift at the top.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Hopefully,
I have like I have two like little kid Taylor Swift books. I have the golden.
I have that one too for her.
Taylor Swift, yeah, and then I have a new one. I think it's called Fearless, but it's like an illustrated Taylor Swift. Yeah, so like I think my friend got it for me, and I think she said it was from Target and that there were like other versions there. So I need to look up and get like all of them now.
I have the little golden book for Emerson, and like we give them their books and they play with them. And because they play with them all the time, so they're constantly being thrown in the trash because they like break the spines really bad and pages come out, whatever. So I'm not giving her this one. And then I have a few other ones that I don't want her to have until she can like take care of her books and not destroy them.
Yeah.
Which is soon because like they don't tear them up as much now. But my son will like take all her books off her shelf and like line them up all down the hallway and then hop on the books, you know? And so then like he's ripping the covers off. And that's how my kids treat things. So she won't get it until she's older. But I do want to get the other ones too because they have like
I have the Betty White one.
The Betty White one. A whole
I think there's a Willie Nelson one.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch.
Yeah. So she'll know like all these powerful women.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
Wow.
All right. Well, yep, I'm off. Thanks for the sprints. You're welcome. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah,
this was really fun. So join the Discord. I put it in the
comments earlier.
Yeah, I put it in the comments earlier, but it's also in all of the descriptions of my videos. You can find it. So if you don't see it anywhere else, like go there. Because I'll be hosting just like random, and even like Beth might, and I mean really anybody can. There's just a reading sprint channel. So if anybody's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read for an hour, like post it in there, and whoever's reading can read with you. But yeah, we're gonna hop off now, so that way, I need to do my outro for my vlog. Oh, and I need to go do YouTube comment picker for me and Beth's day one vlog, so that way we can figure out who's winning the day one giveaway. So
I'm gonna try to edit my vlog and get it up before I go to bed.
Wow, yeah, I'm not gonna.
Well, on weekends my husband's home, so if I do it tonight and like I'm up until 1, I know in the morning if my kids get up.
But you're losing an hour of sleep, remember?
True.
Okay.
But my husband will still get up with the kids, so I can sleep later. Versus during the week,
okay,
I'd probably edit it the morning after. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Editing takes a long time.
Yeah, it does. It
7
does.
to 10 last night to edit the one that I did yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's like is just like the amount of time it takes to edit is like sad, because I wish I could just like have that extra time per day so I can just be like, okay, this is my editing time. Because otherwise then you're like, well, there went nap time.
Or I see some people who have their husbands edit, like they'll, and then their husbands will edit their vlogs.
Wow. If that were true, I would just literally, you could just pump out content then, like.
Exactly. But like, I don't think I could trust, because there's so many things where I'll film something to put in the vlog and I'm like, this is a very unattractive view.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're just gonna
or you're like talking and then you're like going and you're editing and you're like, you know what? This was like irrelevant. I'm cutting that out. And it's like, like if someone edits for you, how do they really know like what you want in the video?
And because sometimes when I film a wrap up, I will literally discuss the book like 6 times until I'm like, oh no, that sounded stupid. Start over. But I don't think I can trust somebody else to edit because I'm too picky.
Yeah.
It's a great book, whatever.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you over in the Discord. Thanks for reading with us, and have a good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.